So welcome to Bunny's Designs. This is a live show, impromptu, Sunday. I'm having a play in Magical Dawn and I'm using my Graphitint. So Derwent have come out, they've been out a while actually. They've got kind of like a muted colour, so they're almost like a charcoal or a pencil, a graphite pencil, but they have a tint or a tone. And I've used them. There is a video on this. If you look up the playlist, Joanna Basford's Christmas, if you're watching on YouTube. Unfortunately, Ustream destroy them all, and that's Alfie opening the door once again. If you can see, they are muted. So the green is kind of a grungy green, what we'd probably call grunge. Now I've managed to do this grungy appearance with other colours, other materials, water-based materials, but I do like these pencils and they're water-based. So I've got out, I'm using them also, I have them in my little book of watercolours, my 21st century book. If you had all these water-based mediums in their natural state, you would have a suitcase and you wouldn't be able to lift it. But I've got scratched the 24 colours and the plastic in between to protect them because, you know, it's a pencil. But I use this as a reference as well. Now normally I can take a little brush, activate it, a little dampness, and I can colour with it, and I love doing that. But today, the particular way I'm working in this Hanna Karlzon book, I'm scratching all my water-based mediums in this book. So there's Caran d'Ache, there's Derwent watercolour pencils, there's Inktense, pastel, but I'm not activating it, I'm leaving it so I can colour the entire book with water-based crayons and pencils, and then protect the pages so the colours don't contaminate each other. And then I can go away with just the book and a brush, a water brush, and I can colour in for hours. Everything's done for me. The only disadvantage is you don't see the colour, and normally we colour something and then we choose the next colour to go next to it. We can't do that, so we have to have a little bit of knowledge. Sorry. A little bit of knowledge of what the particular water-based product can do. So I can look, again, sometimes you can't tell the ends of the water-based colours what they are. So I use this as a reference as well. So today I'm looking at the aubergine and I've decided that that's the nearest colour to an amethyst I'm going to get in this 24 set. So I'm using this particular one, which is number 3 aubergine, and I'll zoom in and you can see exactly what I'm doing, because you've got to know a little bit about the product. And I'll zoom straight in and push this down a bit. So I did very carefully. Now I've got really poorly hands, so when I scratch across the top it's very faint. So I've given a little bit of a faint covering over this one. No sharp pencil lines. And then I did the same with the bottom one. And I've thought I like the light always coming from the right. And because I'm working left-handed, I can kind of do light to dark. It's just easier for me. So this particular one underneath is going to be darker. So I've gone over that a second time. So that's one light coat. That's 2 light coats. So I think that this one will be dark as well. So I'm going to do another coat. Now the one thing about all water-based products that are very, very well pigmented, so they're kind of expensive, if you colour this section here with a brush, a damp brush or a water brush, you will pick up colour. And when you've picked up colour, you can go to an opposite side and use that colour, and it'll drain out of your brush and you will end up with a highlight. So some of these places here I am not going to colour. I'm going to colour this one, and I'm going to colour it twice. It matches this one. So I'm going to do this one a third time. Now that one is almost what's on here, 3 colours of pastel. And you make this book by scribbling. And the good thing about this is I know that this is number 3 aubergine. And so when I scribbled on here, I've replenished this section now, so it's not been used at all. So 3 layers is about enough. And this one's had 3 layers, so that's going to tell me that's as strong as it's going to get. On this side, it's going to be quite dark. And probably on this side, it's going to be quite dark as well. This one could be lighter. And I think this one could be kind of dark as well. Now there is nothing stopping me, which I might actually do. Oops. Oh, it's not number 2. It's number 2 is juniper. Now I've never done this, but in theory, I could mix these two together. I can mix any of these together. So I may as well do this on this page. So I'm going to take these two together, I think. I might do that. No, I'll do that lower down. I'll stick to this one. And then I'm going to put this one on here. And again, very, very light, gentle motion means you don't have any harsh lines. I think that one and this one. And then I'm going to put a bit of that in that one, but not too dark. This one I'm going to make fairly dark. And then this one I think I'm going to make fairly dark as well. And the rest of them, oh wait a minute, so that's quite dark. That can have 2 layers. That can have 1 layer. Right. And then those 2 I'm going to leave, and the middle, because all that colour that I'm going to pick up on my brush is going to be different, and I'm going to use it on those other sections. But actually that looks quite good as it is, but I'm going to leave definitely those 2 because I want them to be quite bright, and that one. So, and again, these might smudge a bit because it's more of a pencil, like a graphite pencil with a tone. So you probably will do that. Now down here then, let's move down here and do this one. I like the idea of mixing both, so we'll look what this one is first. Actually, I think I've changed my mind, because I think we can have well, it won't actually be a ruby one, will it? No. But meadow is quite green, so that would be like a muted emerald. And ocean blue is like an amethyst. Ocean blue is quite nice. And I think dark indigo is quite nice. and autumn brown. So we've got 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got 5. So I'm going to put juniper back. No, aubergine back. Sometimes you have to kind of have a bit of a thought. The thought process. So again, that's fairly pale. This side would be darker. And I am actually going to be very naughty. And I am losing a bit of colour there. Look. I don't like doing that normally. And it's supposed to be for a pastel. Now I would think, because it's supposed to be for a pastel pencil, I haven't never used it. I think perhaps it might be a sharper blade. It's definitely giving me a nice edge. That one could be darker. So you have to think about this as you are going along, because we are not activating them. And if possible, we do want them not to be the same next to each other. And we've probably only got 3 tones. And I think that might be definitely something going on there, that one. And perhaps that one. And then a paler one. And then remember that when we've been using these, we are going to get colour on our brush. So if I've activated that one, I probably will then use that one with the clear brush. So the colour I pick up here will colour that one. The colour I pick up there will colour a paler one. And so on. Sorry, that was Alfie under the desk. I think we're going to get away with those actually, I think. Maybe that one. So the ones that I'm leaving, that should be okay. Oh, thank you, Nina. Thank you. This is a live show with live people having a natter in chat. So welcome. Thank you for stopping by, guys. It's an impromptu, miserable winter's evening. It's 6 o'clock in the evening in the UK, and it's a bit miserable. And I'm actually starting to like sharpening my pencils with a pencil sharpener. I think the next one we'll have, I think that one wants to be a thing. And I think the reason this pencil sharpener is pretty good is because it's for a pastel. According to that, it says it's a pastel one. Oopsie. So maybe it just is a bit kind of nicer to the... But these are really nice to go on. I've never done this before. I've only used them wet. So they are quite nice to use. So I think I'm going to be taking these with me when I do my toadstools. I'm going to have to play with the colours first, though. So again, the light's coming down here, so it's on the top. So this might be quite dark, this one. So we need a couple of layers on this one. Now I'm not pressing on because you can see that's pressing on. That's meadow. So we've got all those colours here. And they're all possible, so there's definitely 10 possible here. And it's always quite nice. Ow, sorry. Thumb. Ow! Thumb and wrist hurt today. So my thumb's in the way. Apologies. I just can't bear to bend it. Sorry. I think that one's pale. I think that one might be dark. And then that one's a bit palish. We'll have a bit of something on that one. That one, and then just a little bit of a very pale and very pale there. And I think the ones that I've got left I can do. So I can put Meadow number 10 away. I think we'll have this one. And really like this. I never thought I would. Now, that's probably why I've hurt my thumb is using a pencil sharpener, but hey ho. I'm looking at having an electric one. I'm going to put this here. So it's going to represent a ruby, but of course it's going to be a graphite tone, so it's going to be kind of a dull red. And again, you can think the light might come over. And I think you can leave these as a pencil. You don't have to activate them. It's just this book will be activated with a brush. Oopsie. I think that might be a little bit darker. So it does have some really nice deep tones, this one. Apologise about the thumb being in the way. But bearing me absolutely chopping it off, I can't really see I can get anything different with it. That one might be pale. I think that one might be pale too. I think maybe that's almost enough as well. Maybe you can be medium tone. So again, the ones that are missing, I can go around. Probably this one can be darker. So we've got number 17 that can go up there. So we've got a blue, and then we'll have the purple one at the end. Or we have the blue one at the end. What's that one? Dark indigo. Oh, sorry. Oopsie. Dark indigo and ocean blue. So we'll just stroke that one. That's going to be the palest, so down here. And the other thing is, it's a bit like when you were children and had those magic colour books that you just activated with water. By the time I get to do this, I'm going to forget what the colours are going to look like. So it's going to be quite a surprise. I mean, if you if you knew somebody didn't have, I've just realised, if you knew somebody didn't have any particular colours, and you had those colours, you could buy the book and colour it in, and then you could send the book with the colours. The other thing you could do for children is, if you don't want your children to play with your Neos or your expensive pencils, your water-based pencils, you can scratch the colour in, and then they can colour in just with a brush. That might be good for children on aeroplanes to keep them quiet. You've scratched all that colour in, so there's no mess, and yet they can watercolour to the heart's content. If you're on a long flight or a long train journey. Or if an elderly relative or somebody in a care home that can't physically watercolour, you could do this for them and then just send them the book and a little water brush. And the good thing about that is, even with arthritic hands, you can colour when you do it like this. So there's a good Christmas present idea for somebody in a care home or somebody in hospital or poorly. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to do the top of this one. Or if somebody's got a set of Neos and somebody's got a set of pencils and somebody's got a set of something else, you could buy 3 books and colour them in with whatever products you've got and then send them all round, and then by the time you get yours back, it's full of a different product that you don't have. If that makes any sense. Or you could just do it 2, one colour one with Neos and the other colour the other, because it doesn't take a lot of colour off. I mean, I just sharpened this one and there's hardly any colour. Where's my hand? There. There's hardly any colour off it. You don't put tons of colour on. It's a paper palette basically. And you get better effects if you don't put a lot on at all. The watercolour effect, you just scratch in one corner. There's quite a few videos I've done that instead of activating it, you could stop at that point. Especially with the Neos, you just scratch the tiniest little bit of colour. I think I want to do that one dark. I'm going to leave that one. I'm going to leave all those, I think. And then that one as well. I'm just going to leave those for you because there's going to be enough colour there. But aren't they're gorgeous in their own right. Just really muted soft. Oh, hi Dorothy. Welcome to Bunny's Designs. Just having a bit of a play with my Graphitint. So there seems to be quite a large gem on the beetle's back, actually. In fact, she's quite bejeweled. Is the little lady? I think she's a little lady. We'll give her blue eyes. Again, I've got to look at this. I think the bluest one is ocean blue, so we're going to use ocean blue and give her some blue eyes. She deserves blue eyes. I think Ustream and YouTube's been a bit naughty. So thanks for stopping by, guys. It's an impromptu recorded for Ustream.tv and also Ustream and YouTube. So if you like any of my videos, please like and subscribe, and let me know if you want to see a bit of anything else or repeated something or other. I think I'm just going to put a little bit of colour in there. Sorry about the thumb in the way. It's just playing up. I've just coloured that little bit in there. And I think I'm going to do this centre one. I think I'm going to do that autumn brown. So these are really, really soft. There doesn't seem to be hard lines. So just having a look at perhaps maybe just put in a little bit of a darker shadow under there. So I've got what do you call it? Tracing paper, and I will put tracing paper on this page. Sorry, I would do. I've got tracing paper on the other side, but you would need tracing paper because I think most colours, because they're well pigmented, they might contaminate the other side. So just really soft. And I'm using this as a colour guide because you can't always tell from the end. So these is my little colour swatches and my little paper palettes. So I know that if I use this particular pencil, I can get all those tones. And I think I like sage. I think I'm going to do, oh, I like warm storm as well. We've got some nice greys there. There's some nice greys, but I think I'm going to warm up. I think I'm going to use, oh, I've got a cool brown as well. I think I'm going to use storm. So at the moment, the only pencil sharpener I can find is my pastel pencil, which I don't actually use for pastels. And it seems to be a really nice point, and it also seems to be very careful with the pigment. So that's quite good. Now that could be gilded, so I do have a colour. I think I'm just going to give our little frogette. Oh, she's a beetle because she's got wings, so she must be a beetle. Just going to gently stroke this colour, and again we won't have an idea of what it's going to turn out like until we activate it with water. But I think that's going to be fun. As long as I leave some spaces for highlights, I think that's going to be fine. So I'm going to do it all over her body with Storm, which is, sorry, I beg your pardon, with Sage. Oh no, I picked up Storm. Storm is number 18. Oh, Storm is kind of a purpley brown. So she's going to be a well covered little beetle. And this is very, very soft. It's almost sliding off the pencil, not pushing down at all. So I like working like this. It's fairly quick. The only disadvantage, as I say, is you can't see what colour. Normally what we do is we colour something and then we choose the next colour having seen what we've just done. We can't do that with this. But the advantage is that you're not taking all your products with you. You can colour the entire book. You can do the entire book, and then I think, oh, maybe that is inside, and that's, right. So I've got just, whoopsie, so that looks quite nice if you look at the colours. It's just a darker brown colour, just very, very gentle. I'm trying to, I think I might go in this side here and just have like a gilded kind of wings on the back there. I think that's Storm as well, but never mind. I've got a funny feeling looking at it. So we've got, it'll be a little bit of a ready beetle. Again, just very gently. And because I don't have any harsh lines, I can work in little circular motions. And it is fairly quick. Now, even though you can't do anything about the colour if you're away with just your brush, obviously, and that's with everything, apart from the Inktense, you can go back and you can add to it. Now, everything apart from the Inktense will reactivate. So if you activated it and thought it wasn't dark enough, you can add to it. The Inktense you can add to it, but once the Inktense has dried, you can't go back in because it's normally set. Once Inktense pencils, and you can do this as Inktense blocks. I don't know if that was blocks. You can do it with pastels, anything that's water-based. You just have to protect the paper with either greaseproof paper or baking parchment, or I'm using tracing paper at the moment, and I won't waste it because I'll use it to trace things later. So it's not wasted, even though it's in this particular thing. So I'm just going to do this really quickly. And then I'm just going to have a word. So thank you for joining me. Hopefully I might be able to get a couple of videos out tomorrow, but I won't be around on Thursday, so we won't have a live stream on Thursday. Unless I can try and do one from Ireland. So one should never say never. I'm now using a brush now. So I'll zoom out really quickly and you can see what that's done. So I've just got the wings to do and a little bit more, but that's the beginning of my Graphitint pre-colouring before I leave the pages. Thank you for watching.